Hello, everyone. Welcome to this first of many video series for the class. As a reminder of what I'm expecting from this assignment, this should be an unscripted, ideally unedited video, and we'll progress a little bit with that as the semester goes on. But for this one, informal, unscripted video detailing what it took to join the community that you wrote a 300 to 500 word ethnographic narrative detailing a quote-unquote day in the life of that community. So for me, as all of you read, I sort of took the computer gaming community on as the community I wanted to talk about, because it is something that I think a lot of people will identify with as sort of an easy community to join. Video games are pretty much accessible to a lot of people. There are many free-to-play games, so it's sort of depending on your level of wealth or poverty, disparity, what have you, it's potentially something that most, if not everyone, can do. But I specifically wanted to talk about joining a community of friends who had built their own computers, and what it took for me to enter into that world with those individuals along a few lines. I think the first thing that I need to clarify is that money was a huge stepping stone to get into this community. It's one of the bigger problems with computer gaming specifically. There are affordable ways to game, like I started out this video saying, but if you are someone who wants to build the computer from scratch and create sort of an individualized gaming experience for yourself, it is something that takes time and money and dedication. And I was only able to do this when I had taken a year off between my undergraduate and graduate degrees and was working more than full-time, about 2.5 jobs, maybe 3 jobs at certain points. And part of that experience was me deciding to take some of the extra money I had made over the year and join a community of friends who played with each other online constantly. Where I was sort of an observer to that group at first because I didn't have the monetary means to enter into that group. This year of working more than full-time allowed me to eventually join that group. Clearly, this group also requires some technical skill, or in my case, the ability to find a clear YouTube video that helped you understand how to build a computer from scratch. There is a clear distinction in the computer gaming community at large between individuals who buy a PC and get it sent to them versus a group of individuals who will build their computer. And I purposefully wanted to join that last group because there's a sense of illustriousness and a grandeur with having built your own computer. So I was wrapped up in the title of being someone who had built my computer, so that when I joined my friends in an online gaming environment or whatever, I could sort of also say that I was one of those who trekked through the building of a computer experience. So there was some hierarchy in that joining of this community. I chose to join the quote-unquote better of the PC gaming community by building my own computer. I think the final obstacle to this, other than things like having an internet connection, having a home that was large enough to house a PC with a larger screen, with a desk, keyboard, things like that. I want to touch quickly, as I'm wrapping up, back on the money option. And James Paul Gee, in his piece, talks a lot about the ability for someone who wants to join a community to latch on to a master or someone who is already in that community. Clearly, we've talked about that I have problems with framing that as the word master, but an expert, we'll say, in the community. Where I got to the point where I was mostly done with a computer, but I had run out of money other than rent and food. So I told my friends, I'm very sorry, I can't actually do this yet. I have to wait another 2-3 months to accrue some more money. And a friend of mine sent out a message to our friend group and said, let's buy Zach the last few pieces of his computer. So while this isn't exactly attaching to a master, maybe more the YouTube tutorials are that. An obstacle for me was overcome with the help of others who had already joined the community. They wanted me to be in this space with them, playing the same games, having achieved the same goals as them. So they pooled their literal resources, as opposed to maybe the academic resources we're talking about in joining a discourse community at a college level. But they pooled their resources to finish my acclimation into this community. So I think that for my community specifically, the obstacles were money, time, skill, and finding an expert to help give me that skill, if I were to list 4. So clearly, this was unscripted, off the cuff. I just sort of talked. This is all I'm expecting from you in your piece. A description of how you joined the community, and maybe 3 or 4-ish examples of roadblocks that you had to overcome. Other than that, all I'm expecting is it to be a video this time. Do with it what you will, but this is all I'm expecting from you at this point of the process. I'll see you in class.